Hi guys, my name is Brianne, and if you run a nonprofit or a small organization and you make posts on Facebook, you're going to want to hear this simple workflow. It might just change your life. Okay guys, we're getting right into it here. So right now I've opened up a folder on my Google Drive and I've literally just called it, I think it's called my Pilot Manager Use Cases Nonprofits. And then I have this literally just as like an awareness post orchestration of a workflow. So I'm going to show you how I made it, what it does, and kind of go through the process so that you can replicate it yourself as well. Okay, so what this does is it essentially takes whatever your organization's mission and vision is. It then goes and scans for key dates that your organization would typically post about on Facebook. And then it does the whole workflow pipeline of recommending a Facebook post and then using your design system to create images that match that post. Okay, so this is something that you can actually replicate every week, and then it kind of makes sure that you're on track, and then obviously you'd want to make sure there's a human in the loop so you're overseeing it as well. So where I'm going to get started is the tools. So I'm going to kind of just kickstart into the customization tab. So the harness I'm working in is Claude Code or Claude Cowork, but you can literally use anything to build this. Okay, so let's go to connectors. So the first few things you're going to want to connect to, you're going to want to connect to what is called Firecrawl. So Firecrawl basically just scrapes the internet, and that's going to allow us to find the key dates that we want to find. The next thing you're going to want to be connected to is whatever your design system is that you use to create posts. So I have Canva in here in Higgsfield. We're actually just going to use Canva today for this scenario. And then the next thing you're going to want to connect to is your Gmail account so that the agent can send the draft recommendations straight to your Gmail. It's only going to send it as a draft. In Claude right now, Gmail doesn't actually have access to, or the agent doesn't actually have access to send emails to Gmail. So, but you can save it as a draft in Gmail. So that's what we're going to do. Okay. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to create your MD files that give the information we want to the agent. So the first one we're going to create is the mission and vision. So I've just made up kind of a fake organization here. So there's a couple of ways you could go about this. You could actually use, we're assuming you've implemented your Firecrawl connector here. And I'm going to add a link in the bio to get the API connection for Firecrawl. But once you've done that, you could just ask the agent, please scan for whatever website, let's say www.website.com. And in here, you would put your website name and go there and pull the mission and vision and values. Okay, you guys, so I'm going to show you the one that I made here. So this was just kind of a pretend one. It's called Bright Roots Canada. The name is Bright Roots Canada, and then it talks about its mission for helping young people, and then it talks about the vision, serves, values, and then the call to action for the organization. Alrighty, so this is really simple. Okay, so the next thing you're going to ask is you're going to say, please use the Firecrawl API or Firecrawl MCP. So the MCP, if you haven't watched my previous videos, the MCP is basically just the connection to that external source that allows Claude to go and use that tool. Okay, so it's basically connecting the two systems so that there's a bridge between how they communicate. Okay, so I'm just saying, please use the Firecrawl MCP to scrape for key dates in Canada we're going to say key awareness dates in Canada for nonprofits. So it's really important to note that it is going to go and implement this step, but it might miss dates or dates might be wrong. So this is where it's really important that you guys still keep a human in the loop. You could actually implement some sort of skill that then goes and audits those dates. I'm not going to cover that in this video, but that is one option you could do. But I would still recommend having some sort of human in the loop. Okay, so here are all the dates that it spit out. So there's just a ton of dates here that might be relevant to our organization. So I haven't done any kind of filtering to decide on whether our organization should post an awareness post. Right now, it's just all these raw dates that it used the Firecrawl MCP to gather. Okay, you guys. So I've been kind of creating, I've already created all these tools, so I'm kind of showing you how you can go about creating them while I've already have them created in the background. So I just want to let you know on that. But the next thing that you would do is you would then be like, okay, now scan for all the dates and compare to our mission and vision and recommend which ones we should comment on and give example posts, okay? And then after that, you're gonna be like, then go and use the Canva MCP and create images for these posts. Then send the entire process to as a Gmail draft. Okay, so this is kind of like the general sense of what you would tell the agent. You'd probably take this into 3 steps. Okay, right now we're at the stage where we're creating the skill, so we're basically just walking the agent through the first iteration. Okay, so I would probably do this step first, and then I would see what it gave me and I would tell it to improve if I felt like it needed to. Then I would give it this second step and be like, okay, then go use Canva. And then lastly, I would have this third step and ask it to execute on that. Once it's done on all of that, then I would say, okay, great, wrap this up as a skill. Okay, so I've already created the skill and done the entire process to make this workflow work. So what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to tell it to execute on the skill, okay? And actually, before I do that, I want to show you guys the skill here. So it says here, it creates Facebook posts for National Canadian Awareness Cause Days. And it's talking about what the input is. So those are all the markdown files that we created, right? It has this one where it's talking about key dates. You honestly don't need to create this one. This is like a short list, but it's good enough just to do the one that we talked about earlier. And then the workflow is, okay, read the profile, find the days in scope, score each day, draft the post copy, create the graphic in Canva, and then present it, right? Okay. So it's talking about voice, Canva, image, direction. Okay, great. So this is pretty good. And with skills, you can iterate and improve it over time. But a raw skill, this is pretty dang good. So I'm going to say execute on the skill for awareness post for this week. Okay, I'm going to actually get it to do that. I'm going to show you guys what it does. And so the first thing it's going to do is it's going to score it against the mission. And here it talks about what days, based on the mission and vision, they would recommend posting about. So they talked about the International Self-Care Day. Okay, so then they gave options for the post and potentially what you should post about. And then what it did is it actually went in and it created 4 Canva drafts. So I'm going to take you guys to those right now. So self-care skills, build your tools. And here it's just going through some examples. So you can see you can actually go in and edit this after the fact now. But it's nice. It's just giving you this foundation to, yeah, see here, you can see here you'd have to, that's all kind of jumbled. So you'd have to fix that, but it's giving you kind of a direction to get started on. This intentional self-care day, we're helping young people build the tools to thrive. Then the last thing you can do is you can actually just get it to send an email that shows the entire process it went through, the dates that it triggered, the dates it said that it should post about, and then links to those images in Canva. So you can see that the skill is quite powerful and it really just helps you kickstart your process and every week you can actually iterate this. So I actually have this saved as a schedule week task every Monday. So it basically goes in and it scans that markdown file for all the dates within that next week, and it comments on which ones it thinks we should post about. So this is something that you could execute on once every week and make it just part of your process. Every day you come in Monday morning with your coffee, you sit down and you execute this workflow. So you can see how that can be quite powerful. Really, the important thing here, you guys, is making sure that you have the right dates and that you're not missing anything. So that's really where you'd want to have a human in the loop. I would have, number one, a human in the loop reviewing that. And I would also implement a skill that then goes and traces the internet dates to this markdown file and identify any discrepancies. You can actually make skills that basically audit Claude itself. So, but I wouldn't get rid of the human in the loop. I would make sure there's still a human in the loop to review that as well. That's really, really critical here, you guys, because that is something that if this isn't updated and you're following through on that every week and you're not agreeing to the proper dates, that can be a big issue. Anyways, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please send me recommendations for more videos if you have any, and I'm looking forward to talking soon.